welcome to another tag video, and this is going to be a fun one. I wasn't actually tagged, but after I saw Cherrie Walker do this, she's actually one of my new subscribers, and she is a fantastic YouTuber. I highly suggest you check her out. She actually said to me on Twitter, "I'd love to see you do this tag, especially because of the fact that you are from New York City." So yeah, we're here to talk about the New York Times Buy the Book tag, and I'm quite surprised that as a native New Yorker, I didn't do this. It was quite crazy to me, but I'm also excited that it's a book tag, because as a new member of the BookTube community, I'm really excited to do more bookish things. Here we go, everybody! I'm really excited to do this. All the questions are right here on my laptop, and here we go. The first question is, what book is on your nightstand now? I don't have a nightstand. Next question, please. No, I'm serious. Next question. I don't have a nightstand. I can't answer this question properly. Question number 2 is, what was the last truly great book you read? I love the Harry Potter books and the Lord of the Rings books, and I've read some really good reads over the past couple of years. But I gotta say, the truly great book that I recently read was The Help by Catherine Stockett. It's such an amazing story about real-life events that took place in the 1960s in the South, and the film by Tate Taylor is fantastic as well. It's such a powerful, yet very light and humorous read. If you haven't read this book yet, I really feel that this one sticks with you as time goes by. Question number 3 is, if you were to meet any writer, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you want to know? Well, I'm going to go into the world of graphic novels, and I want to meet Frank Miller. And the question that I want to ask him is, how did you make an icon that was already so beloved and so powerful that much more legendary? And of course, I'm referring to his graphic novel of The Dark Knight Returns, which features Batman. If you haven't read that, and you want to read one of the greatest Batman stories, or one of the most amazingly powerful and dramatic stories of all time, read The Dark Knight Returns. I guarantee you will not regret it. Question number 4 is, what books might we be surprised to find on your shelves? I would probably think maybe the Lunar Chronicles, because there aren't that many males that talk about the Lunar Chronicles, and when it came to those books, I asked a whole bunch of female booktubers that I knew were head over heels for these books, just asking them if there was any male appeal. And yes, there really is. There may not be that many men that talk about it, but I guarantee you, you'd be surprised with what you find in those books. Question number 5 is, how do you organize your personal library? There really is no real way or pattern that I use, just books that are part of sagas do in fact go together. Some that are the same size do go together, and shape matters as well, but there really is no set pattern. Now, if you want to see things that are really set in an interesting pattern, take a look at my DVD shelf tour. That is where the order really takes shape. Question number 6 is, what book have you always meant to read but never got around to it yet? And is there anything that you feel embarrassed about that you haven't read yet? Well, that would probably be the Chronicles of Narnia, because I know that they are classics. I've already read The Lord of the Rings, I've already read Harry Potter, and I've already read a whole bunch of other truly classic stories in the world of science fiction and fantasy, but the Chronicles of Narnia was just a series I never read, and I never understood why. I actually loved the 3 films. A lot of people think that they're okay, but I absolutely loved them. But I don't know how accurate they are to the original source material, and C.S. Lewis is one of the greatest writers of fantasy of all time. So I am going to be reading these books, all 7 of them, and I'm really excited to finally scratch them off my list. Question number 7 is, disappointing, overrated, or just not good? What book did you feel that you were supposed to like but didn't? And do you remember the last book you put down without finishing? Well, those 2 questions are going to be answered with one word: Dune. Frank Herbert's science fiction classic. I thought that it was the most boring thing I ever read. I tried so hard to like it, but I couldn't even get past the first 200 pages. I literally just said, I can't do this anymore, and I put this book down. Ironically, another book that fits into this category is A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I managed to get through the first 2 books, and I just put them all down because I just found the third book way too confusing. Will I go back and revisit any of these books? A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series? Perhaps. Dune? Definitely not. Question number 8 is, what kinds of stories are you drawn to, and what do you steer clear of? Well, I am really drawn to anything. There is really nothing that I steer clear of. I mean, maybe romance novels? I mean, I really have no intention to read them, but I don't basically avoid them like it's the plague or anything like that. If someone says to me, you gotta read this because there's a really good story in here, that's what's gonna drive me to read. Something that's not flash in the pan, something that's deep, something that's got great characters, and something that's extremely thought-provoking. That's what really draws me to a good book. And there's really nothing that draws me away from anything. Question number 9 is, if you could require the president to read one book, what would it be? It is definitely The Chocolate War by Robert Cormier. I read that book in my senior year of high school, and I thought that it was one of the greatest books that I ever read, because it's about a boy who is just trying to be himself and not fall into the mainstream and go with what the crowd is doing. It's also a really deep story about the abuse of power and corruption, and some of the things that you take away from this book are seen in the real world every day. I've actually told so many people on BookTube about this book, and I would love to know that somebody actually took my advice and read it. Once again, that book is The Chocolate War. The author is Robert Cormier. Read it. I really think that you will like it, and if you don't, I'd really like to know why you don't. And the final question is, what do you plan to read next? I am going to be starting a rereading of the Harry Potter series, and it is going to be with the illustrated editions. It's going to take me a few years, but I am so excited to tackle these gorgeous books because I really feel that I'm going to look at the Harry Potter story in a whole new light. So who am I going to be tagging for this? Well, I took a look at a whole bunch of booktubers that I absolutely enjoy watching the videos of, and a lot of them have already done it. But unless I completely missed it, these 3 specific booktubers have not done it yet, so I'm hoping that they will. I am going to be tagging Jelly Fable, Aaliyah Reads, and Chapter Chatter. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Thank you, Cherrie, for tagging me. It was such a pleasure to do this tag. It was tons of fun, and I'm hoping to do more bookish tags very soon. So for now, please put your comments in the box below, and I'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.